Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. Do you love all things that sparkle? Then this Jonka Pendant tutorial is the perfect project for you. My goal was to let the beautiful triangle crystal shine, so I added a delicate bezel and lots of sparkling bicones. Ready to create this beauty with me? Here is the list of all the materials you'll need for the Jonka Pendant. To get started, of course, we first need our supplies. To start, string 15 4mm bicones, alternating with 15 size 11 seed beads. Tie a knot to form a circle with the beads. Go through all the beads again to secure this circle. Your starting circle must be firm and tight. I know I'm speeding it up again. I just can't stand watching minutes of my own quiet beading. If it pains me to watch, I'm sure it would pain you too. You see, I'm even talking right now to avoid the silence. Step out from a bicone. Now that your starting circle is firm and tight, let's begin the next row. Pick up one size 15 seed bead, one size 8 seed bead and one size 15 seed bead. Then go through the next bicone in your circle. Adjust the beads so they sit straight. Now repeat this same step. Make one of these units between every bicone. I'm speeding up this part again to respect your time, as it's just repeating the same unit 15 times. For those beading along with me, just pause here and finish your round. For those just watching, this way you can skip several minutes of repetitive work. You see, I'm babbling again. But I don't like the silence, so I thought I'd chat a bit about this pattern's name. In my early years of pattern making, I had trouble finding a good name for each of my patterns. So I decided to use old Hungarian female names. Jonka is an old Hungarian name that caught my eye. Now we have all the seed bead units in place. The beading isn't lying flat and looks a bit wavy, but that's okay. The next row will straighten it all out. Lead your thread to the size 8 seed bead from the first unit. String this unit between the size 8 seed beads. One size 15 seed bead, one size 11 seed bead and one size 15 seed bead. Repeat around. Here's a quick tip for these next repetitive rows. If you feel it might get confusing, feel free to use a different color for your size 11 seed beads in each new row to see the pattern more clearly. It's easier for me to use one color as I know this pattern well, but I completely understand if you decide to alternate your colors to make it easier on yourself. Do what works for you. When you finish the row, lead your thread to the size 11 seed bead from the first unit. In this row, we will start making the corners. For the first corner unit, use 3 size 15 seed beads and go through the size 11 seed bead from the second unit strung in the last row. Then make 4 units with a size 11 seed bead in the middle. Just like the units from the previous row. You can switch your color for the size 11 seed bead in this row if you need to. This was my second unit with size 11 seed bead in the middle. So I need 2 more. I made my first corner with my first side. Place your triangle cabochon inside the bezel now. It won't fit after the next row. Adjust your beads and pull the thread very firm. This will help the beading curve over the back of the stone and hold it securely in place. We need to repeat this entire 5-unit sequence 2 more times for the other sides of the triangle. This row is a bit challenging because you have to hold the triangle cabochon in place while beading the units that will secure it in place. And now for a little confession while this part is sped up. Looking back now, I know that making these corners for this row was completely pointless. It wasn't in the original design. I just thought I could add a small improvement, but it didn't really work out. The fact that I used 3 size 15 seed beads on the corners instead of a regular unit didn't add any extra value to the finished piece. You can absolutely skip this and just make your normal units at the corners. It's much easier and looks just as great. When you finish the row with your last unit, lead your thread to the middle bead of the first unit. And now the cabochon stays in place. It is secure in the bezel. However, we haven't finished the bezel itself yet as we still need to add a few more rows. But first I will weave in the tail, leading it away from the knot, and then I will cut it. And now we can continue making the bezel. We need one more row stringing the same units between the middle beads strung in the previous row. So string 1 size 15, 1 size 11 and 1 size 15 seed bead and go through the middle bead from the next unit. It comes in handy in this row if you are using 2 different colors for your size 11 seed beads. This way you can see better where you need to string them. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Your support helps me keep creating free content. Every like, comment and share makes a difference. Want to do more? You can check out my tutorials and jewelry. Links are in the description. Thank you so much for helping me keep this channel going. With the last unit, lead your thread to the size 11 seed bead from your first unit. String size 11 seed beads between the middle beads strung in the units from your previous row. Try to pull your thread to make this row very tight. If you get a little lost and aren't sure where this row ends, just count your beads. For this complete round, you will add a total of 15 size 11 seed beads. And with this row, we begin the peyote stitch section of our bezel. Can you see it already? With each new bead you add, those distinctive little teeth characteristic of peyote stitch begin to appear. Our main goal from this point on is to gently decrease and narrow the back of the bezel. We're doing this to create a secure and beautiful covering that will protect the delicate foiled back of our cabochon. When you string the last bead in this row, you need to step up for the new row. So go through the middle bead from the last unit and the first bead from this row. Start a peyote row with size 11 seed beads. It is a simple peyote row. Basically, you just string a size 11 seed bead between the beads strung in the previous row. As we start to close up the back of the bezel, I want to share why this step is so important. It's not just about securing the stone, but more about protecting its delicate foiled backing. This backing is what gives the crystal all of its beautiful color from the front, and we want to keep it safe from scratches. With the last bead, you need to step up for the next row. So go through the last bead from your previous row and the first bead from this row. We reach the final row of the bezel. String a size 15 seed bead between every size 11 seed bead from the previous row. I feel the back of my cabochon with this row will be protected enough, so I will stop beading the bezel here. However, if you'd like to add more coverage for extra protection, feel free to add another 2 rows of peyote stitch with size 15 seed beads. Do what feels right for your cabochon. Here's how I decide if I need to add more rows to cover the back of the cabochon. Your beading should be at least as high as the center point on the back of the stone. If the point still sticks out past your beads, you need another row. On my piece, the beads are now level with that point. To make the hanger, you need to lead your thread to a side of your triangle and find the size 8 seed bead that is in the middle of that side. This will be our starting point for the hanger. It doesn't matter which side you choose. Just lead your thread to a middle bead from a side. For this pendant, I designed a hanger that is not overly complicated but also not the most basic one. As you can see it in the picture, the one I'm making is made with right angle weave. I think it creates a very nice, structured look on top of the triangle. Here's another option if you'd prefer something simpler. You can just make a basic beaded loop instead. Just string 5 pieces of size 11 seed beads around the middle bead. Start the first raw circle by stringing 1 size 11, 1 size 8 and 1 size 11 seed beads and go back in the size 8 seed bead where you started this loop. Lead your thread through the size 11 and the size 8 seed beads added now. And start the second raw circle by adding the same beads again. 1 size 11, 1 size 8 and 1 size 11 seed beads. Repeat this raw circles 3 more times, until you have a total of 5 size 8 seed beads. To close the loop and form the hanger, we need to connect the last size 8 seed bead to the first one. Exit from your last size 8 seed bead. Pick up 1 size 11 seed bead, and go through the first size 8 seed bead. One side of our closing circle is now complete. Pick up another size 11 seed bead. Then go back through your last size 8 seed bead. This closes the circle and the base of our hanger is now ready. Your hanger might look a little messy or uneven at this point. You may think you've made a mistake, but don't worry, you haven't. Once we add the beads to the edge in the next row, everything will straighten out nicely. Lead your thread through the starting size 8 seed bead and up to the first size 11 seed bead of your hanger. String 2 size 15 seed beads between the size 11 beads on this side of the hanger. You need to string 5 units with the size 15 seed beads until you reach the end of this side. Of course, you need to repeat this on both sides of the hanger. So lead your thread through the size 8 seed bead and step out from the first size 11 seed bead from the other side. And repeat adding the size 15 seed beads along this side too. See how this step straightened out the hanger and made it sit so nicely? All that's left is to finish off our thread. I'll secure it with double knots between the beads of the hanger. Find a thread bridge between 2 beads and make a loop with your thread. Make a double knot using that loop. Pull the knot into a bead to hide it. Go through some beads and find another good spot to make a second knot. You should make at least 3 of these double knots before you cut your thread. The most important rule: never cut your thread right after a knot. And that's it. The pendant is complete. Just add a necklace chain and it's ready to wear. If you make one, be sure to tag me. I'd love to see it. I love sparkly projects like this one, and I have many types of crystals ready to be used. So, let me ask you, would you like to see more tutorials featuring these type of cabochons? And that's the end of today's video. If you watched it and liked it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.